Hello, I'm Fabio Terezinho, Vice President of Integration Service Partners with AVEVA, and it's my pleasure to be here at AVEVA World with Henning from AWS. Henning, welcome.
Well,
thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Fabio. And yeah, we are very excited to be here. For us, this is a very special AVEVA World. We've been a partner for almost now 10 years, but this is the first time where we elevated and our gold sponsor here with you on the ground. And yeah, we also had some pretty exciting news.
I know, I heard on the keynote from Casper, our CEO, yesterday, right?
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. I think Casper shared with the audience and with us that AVEVA is now embarking on a multi-cloud journey. And we are very happy and honored that AVEVA has chosen to collaborate even deeper and stronger with AWS. And I think the reason why we're doing this is for the benefits of our common customers. Customers have their data strategies. A lot have built on AWS, some have built on others. So I think it's important to give customers the choice. And especially now in this area of more sovereignty and certain requirements driving certain cloud deployment models, I think it's a great thing for our common customers to give them these options.
Even for resilience as well. And, and can you describe exactly what it means, the multi-cloud, and why customers should care about that? What's the benefit for them?
Yeah, I think as I said, the customers have built their data strategies, and the data strategies, they're going across IT and OT. So it's important that we honor whatever customers have already put in place, how they want to shape their data. And in certain areas, it's easier to do this for latency, also for resilience, if you're not changing too much the environments you're in. And I think it's very important to give them the options. And as you said, the options are not only cloud or not cloud, but at the same time, the announcement also talked about that together we are giving the options of private cloud. So that means it does not necessarily need to be a software as a service, centrally deployed and running at AVEVA, but it could also be deployed at the end customer. And this is very important for some industries, for regulations, or as you said, data sovereignty, that they have access and control over the data.
Exactly, on a global level at the end
Yes.
of the day, right? And that's important because it's not only infrastructure as a service for the on-prem, for virtualization of the on-prem software from AVEVA, but actually a platform compatible with our Connect SaaS solution running natively on the multi-cloud from AWS, correct?
100%, 100%.
Wonderful. And what else, Henning, you believe from a customer point of view, they should expect as benefits out of this new, or I would say enhanced partnership?
Yeah. So I think also part of the announcement was that AVEVA will build a lot of your future AI offerings on AWS. And that's very exciting also for us, as there are so many benefits that AI can bring to industrial use cases. The use cases will not be completely new. We talked about that yesterday. But the options, what AI can offer, they're just completely opening a new field of opportunities, and how you can leverage that for use cases that have been there for a long time, but options are just better how to solve them.
Yeah, and based on our discussion yesterday, you mentioned AI now, right? Everybody talks about AI, everybody claims to have AI or use AI or offer AI. What's the AWS position on that, particularly for our demographic, industrial users, industrial customers? What's your AI offer and how it differentiates for our common customers?
Yeah, so I mean, AWS has AI on several layers. So we do our own silicon. We optimize this to be very good in a price performance layer. And then the next layer is the infrastructure layer, where we have a product, Amazon Bedrock AgentCore. And what this gives you is some of the heavy lifting that otherwise software vendors or end customers would need to implement on their own. And this is about identity, it's about guardrails, and it's about telemetry. What are these agents all doing? because again, you want to have control, you want to be able to audit it, you want to know how are the agents acting on behalf of whatever application is calling the agents.
Especially industrial applications, right?
Especially industrial, and especially there we see that, I mean, when I talk to industrial customers about cloud, I think almost the immediate answer, or the second answer at least, is, what about cybersecurity?
Bingo.
And if you think about cybersecurity, then there's a lot of legacy, and it's very difficult to control this because, again, you need identity, you need to be able to patch the systems, and you need to be able to have the telemetry, what's happening between the different systems, who's talking to whom. This is fairly hard to do on-premise in a world where these capabilities had not been built into the systems that have been running for decades. And here I also believe that there's a lot of opportunity how our two companies can come together. Again, we come more from the infrastructure, from the enabling elements like AgentCore, and you with your applications, and also the end customers with whatever they build on top of Connect and other applications can then benefit from.
So customers do not have to reinvent the wheel and just leverage all these stack of technologies, applications, APIs, models, and just customize for their particular vertical applications, right?
100% correct, and that's really the core idea of AWS. We always say we want to take away the heavy burden, the heavy lifting for the customer. So, I mean, we've been doing this since the invention of AWS. Initially, one topic that's greatly in demand by our customers are our managed databases. Because, I mean, just updating, maintaining databases, that's just heavy burden. This is not where innovation takes place. So we have optimized this. We can do this on behalf of customers and software partners. And then everybody can focus more on the innovation, the next thing.
Which allows, especially for customers developing solutions that are replicable, gives them faster time to market, which in our current times where technology is changing at an incredible pace, is extremely important to keep up with competitive advantage, right?
100% correct. I mean, you don't want to reinvent the wheel if the wheel is not differentiating. So that's exactly where we come in. And in IT, there's a lot of, as I said, groundwork. So that's level 0. Also security. We've built this into our products, our services as priority number 0. And if you build on top, there's a lot of things you can leverage out of our technology stack.
Fundamentally, it's about economy of scale, right?
Correct.
AWS and AVEVA develop once for multiple customers, so each customer pays just for a fraction of that cost of development, and they can focus on what's unique for them in their vertical domain, right?
Correct, 100%. And they can also leverage the innovation that is coming, because if you try to build the stack completely on your own, there's so much innovation, then you don't need to innovate only on the specific vertical things, but you need to keep on innovating also on the infrastructure that's just not differentiating.
Exactly. And from the cost point of view, the conclusion that many customers told me they realized is that the major factor of the cost is not so much on the build, but on the TCO, the total cost of ownership, to keep maintaining all this infrastructure and keep up with new technologies, new cybersecurity rules, and this and that. And once they leverage those layers that AVEVA and AWS built together, that's our burden, right? And they just pay a fraction of the maintenance cost to keep this infrastructure running. And another thing that we were talking yesterday, and I want to make sure you have a chance to share that with a broader audience, was the discussion about not only where AI should be used, but especially in the industrial scenario where it should not be used, right? Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, happy to. I mean, there are a lot of areas where AI makes a lot of sense, can speed up productivity and bring incredible gains, but you need to know where to apply it, and also, as you said, where not to apply it. And in areas where there is deterministic behavior, if you want to control a machine, you need to have with a defined input, you need to have a defined output. So You don't want hallucinations. If you want a machine to stop for safety reason, it needs to stop, and it needs to stop in a predefined time.
Real-time control.
Real time. So it's really the determinism, and at the same time also the latency. And LLMs, at least at this current state of the art, they cannot do it. And there are quite good chances that this will be very hard to do in the future. So for that, probably AI is not the right tool.
I agree completely, Henning. Henning, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. It was a pleasure to have you here. And just to wrap up, could you define AVEVA World in one word or short sentence?
One word for me is momentum. I see an incredible group of industrial professionals here, all striving for the same common goals. And as we discussed yesterday, no company can do it alone, but as a network of partners, we can be successful to the benefits of our customers.
The power of the ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Pleasure working with you and delivering value to our customers.
Well,
thank you, Henning.
Thanks a lot, Fabio.
Thank you all.